American man. No one pay attention to what's in my head. I got a voice inside that needs to be fed, causing chaos everywhere I land. I got a fever. I got a fever.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Ohio Sports Talk. I am your host, Doug. That's the coach, Jordan Maxson. Jordan, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Doing real well, Doug. Doing real well. We've got homecoming festivities at my household this weekend. Jordan's going to her first one as a freshman, so I'm cleaning my guns and gonna have my wife beater on Saturday. Just kidding. Not about the guns part, but I will be properly dressed on Saturday for pictures and a good send off. You may be part of the festivities. We're a little excited about that. All schedule depending, so we're doing good.
It is depending. The chances will be much higher if Ohio State's playing well that I come down early, because if they're in a tight one, I don't want to be around people and be upsetting when it's a homecoming festivities type situation. So it all depends on how Ohio State's playing, which we'll obviously get into. Jordan and I are going to Kings Island on Saturday night, so that'll be fun. Looking forward to getting together and checking out some of the rides and a little night ride action. That'll be fun. But Jordan, we've got a loaded episode tonight. We've got a lot to get into, buddy. We've got the Ohio State and Iowa game that we just mentioned. We've got Browns and Commanders. We've got Bengals and Ravens, and then we've got Cleveland Guardians versus Detroit Tigers. Loaded show tonight, buddy. How you feeling about it? I mean, it's a big weekend. So what are your thoughts before we really dive in?
I'm just excited. There's a lot of changes when it comes to the Cincinnati Bengals and who they're getting, and we'll touch into that. Really excited for at least one Ohio team to step up when it comes to Major League Baseball. So, can't wait to scratch the surface on that. We're not as big as Cleveland fans as we are Cincy fans, but this is exciting. Their first round getting in, we're definitely going to be here for it. So, in Ohio State, Douglas, we're just going to hit on the evolution of what we think is, going to be the next step in this team's offense and defense.
Definitely.
And it's a beautiful picture coming together for them. And of course, we're going to circle the wagons and we're going to go to the mistake across the lake there. And we're going to talk about the Browns. We're going to talk about the Browns.
Yeah.
So,
man. I see, but why are you laughing? You're 1-3 also. You also suck. So I don't know what you're giggling about, but
I'm more confident in my offense. So
well, that's fair. I mean, that is totally fair. Jordan, let's get into it. Let's start with the positive with the Buckeyes. Buckeyes versus Iowa this weekend, 3:30 Eastern time. Jordan, I like this a lot because this is the preview to the Oregon game, Jordan, and Iowa is a better defense than we've faced so far this year. I'm looking forward to it for those reasons. What are your thoughts off the top of your head, buddy?
This is going to be that old saying, Douglas, iron sharpens iron. And, Iowa's defense is going to be that final evolution in Ohio State's offense, getting those wrinkles out, seeing that extended playbook that we've been kind of seeing flashes of when it comes to the three-headed running game, the two-headed running game that we got going on. We know the passing game, and stop me if I sound like a broken record, the passing game is going to take care of itself no matter who's under center. We're just too talented. But really, this is going to be the evolution for our offensive line and our full run game that I think Chip Kelly's going to roll out the red carpet. We might not see everything, Douglas, but I think in those first two quarters, it's going to be critical that we get those plays in. We get those, linemen pulling, those guards pulling, those tackles going. If we're going to add an extra blocker for those plays, that pistol formation, that wing T formation that we've kind of seen flashes of, I think you're going to see the full package in that first half. Like you said, depending if they, if they're going to hit the ground and run away with it, I think we're going to see a lot of that next step of the run game because Douglas, this is like you touched on, this is the dress rehearsal for Oregon. So anything that the playbook hasn't shown or has been able to get, we've got to roll it. So I think Chip Kelly's got to put all of his cards on the table regardless. And we got we got to roll. We got to steamroll, and it's got to be right now. So that's the things I'm excited to see. In the defense, they're still tightening some stuff up, especially, on that second level when it comes to the linebacker and our defensive ends, get that pass rush going and, fire on all cylinders there, kind of break that zone, maybe some man. Iowa's not going to beat us deep, Douglas, regardless of what play is going on. So
Yeah.
I think we can see some man coverage here, put our corners on an island, kind of give them some, give them that one-on-one experience and really let our pass rush just get home, overload the box, fire some linebackers in there and kind of take some new steps themselves and some wrinkles defensively.
For sure.
How do you feel about it?
Well, I feel pretty good about it also because of the talent on our offense. Iowa is the best coached defense we're going to play all year. Chip Kelly said so himself. I don't think they're the most talented defense we'll face this season. I think, Michigan still top to bottom is probably the most talented defense we'll play outside of a playoff game. But Iowa is the best coached unit. They're going to make us work for everything. And we need that because next week is Oregon. Their defense may not be as good, but they're going to be as talented, if not more talented. And I'm excited to see this offense, maybe have to grind out a few more possessions, maybe, some more 3rd and 8, some more situations like that we get to see, what kind of plays are we going to run in tight situations like that? 3rd and 3, do we get to see the 2 backs in on some of these? Do we get to see some different looks from our offense against a tougher Iowa defense? Like you said, Jordan, though, Iowa's offense comes down to stopping Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson, the kid from Cincinnati, Ohio, is a really, really good running back. He's going to test this defense. He's got 9 rushing touchdowns already this year. He has 8.4 yards per carry. This kid's legitimately talented. He is going to be the number 1 player that we have to stop, slow down. Our defense is giving up just under 62 yards rushing per game. We haven't played anybody remotely this talented. Michigan State's running back is a good running back. He's not this kid. So first and foremost, it's got to be slow down Caleb Johnson and make him really, really have to work. Iowa is always known, Jordan, for a solid defensive group and a really talented, beefy offensive line. So we're going to see Jack Sawyer tested. We're going to see JTT tested. We're going to see the D tackles have to work to get back to work to plug those holes. I think it's an exciting matchup for those reasons. I don't think Iowa can keep up with us. You can't really beat a team like Ohio State just running the ball unless Caleb Johnson is phenomenal, lights out, and he's, breaking big runs. He's pulverizing our defense over and over. It would have to, and that score to me, Jordan, would have to be like 21-17. It'd have to be a real low scoring game for Iowa to beat us. I just think, like you reiterated, our offense is too talented to lose to Iowa when they don't have a legitimate quarterback to go along with this really, really talented running back. One of the best running backs in the conference. Yes. It's apparent. So Jordan, that's my key. Slow down Caleb Johnson, make him work, make him, cut down on those yards per carry. He cannot get 8.4 yards per carry against this defense. They have to show the toughness. We've seen people complain about the defense. Well, here's a good opportunity for them to shut down one of the better running backs in the Big Ten. And, even that's the thing, though, Jordan. I want them to shut them down, but we don't necessarily have to shut them down to win the game. And that needs to be taken into consideration also. What are your thoughts on their run game, now that I've put that out there for you?
No, I 110% agree with you. And that's why I said, we know they're not going to beat us when it comes to passing. So this is going to be, our defensive tackles getting really involved, our linebackers. It's going to be a trench warfare. That's how I would label it, at least for the first half. If Ohio State, just hits the ground running and we just, our receivers go out and ball out and we just kind of avalanche it on in the first half. Yeah. I'd really it's going to force Iowa to go in passing situations, Doug. And that's where I want to see our defensive ends, really shine, really get there against, you said, world class when it comes to, Big Ten, Division I. A lot of those offensive linemen guys are going to find their ways to playing Sunday, whether it's immediately or, on practice squads or some depth pieces. So, Iowa has that, kind of talent. So this is really what I wanted to see our defense tested. So I'll be really happy to see that. And this is really where I wanted to see our offensive line finally kind of be tested when it comes to our guards and tackles, and really kind of establishing a run game that Chip Kelly, I feel like, has been kind of holding that book to the chest. Like, okay, we'll see flashes, but like I said, this is a dress rehearsal for Oregon. So I feel like we've got 85, 90% of the playbook's got to be implemented on Saturday afternoon. And these guys got to, they have to experience it live play. You can do it all day in practice, Douglas, but as players ourselves, as points of our lives, nothing like game time. There's nothing you can simulate that is going to be game time competitive. So this really is Ohio State's last keys before that next week's game, which we'll touch on next week. But I think Ohio State handles business. That first half is really going to tell the story of what we want to see for next week.
Okay, Jordan, we've established that we have to slow down Caleb Johnson. The offense has to get out and make plays early. What is your score prediction for this game? I want you to take into consideration the Buckeyes are favored by 18.5 points. We've said a lot we've said a lot of positives about Iowa, but Vegas still has us. They still have us thumping these guys. Tyler McGurk has us 42-0 over Iowa. Coach Fresh has us winning by 14. Jordan, what is your prediction for this Ohio State versus Iowa game? Luckily, it's in the shoe, so I give us a little bit. I probably give us an extra touchdown for it being in the shoe.
I'm thinking 38-14, 38-17. I think Iowa comes out and scores in the first half, and I think mop up duty. Iowa's still going to be swinging those punches up to the last quarter. So I think they squeeze one in on some of our depth players, and that's not taking anything away from Iowa. So I'm thinking that 38-14, 38-17, but those scores are going to come late from Iowa. I think Ohio State's going to have their, foot clearly on their neck early and often.
I'm going to go 42-14, Jordan. Like I said, I'm going to give us an extra touchdown at home. You were in that 35-38 range. Coach Fresh has already started. Bengals lose by 10, but we'll get to that shortly, Coach. Thank you for chiming in. We appreciate you. He's Browns lose by 3. Coach is already on it, and he's ready to go.
It's old man's bedtime. He's got to give us all of his. It's got to give us all his picks right now. We'll, get his sleeping concoction going. He's got to take a nap.
So yeah, 42-14 for me. Wendy chimes in 49-7. I like it, Wendy. I love the confidence. Wendy, I might come down to Waynesville and watch the first half with you guys since we're going to go to Kings Island. I might come down and check it out since I haven't got to see you guys recently. But yeah, 42-14. Coach Fresh, laugh out loud, I'm old. I'm expecting good things, though, Jordan. I'm expecting our running backs. I'm ready to see more Judkins, more Henderson together.
Yes.
We got Jeremiah Smith. We've got Emeka Ibuka. Carnell Tate, who we really don't get to see as much because of the other two guys, who's extremely talented in his own right. Maybe we get G. Scott, the tight end, involved a little bit more. I'd like to see that. There's just a plethora of weapons, Jordan.
And I want to comment on Tate just kind of quickly. Douglas, Tate's going to be.
Iowa doesn't have the offense to keep it this close. They just don't.
Dylan, stop with the clickbait. Nobody wants to hear that. But back to what I was saying on our show here, Douglas. I'm just messing with him. But I think Tate is going to be putting up some big numbers when we get into the Michigan games.
Yeah.
Up that team up North Michigan, that Oregon game coming up. Tate's going to be one of those guys that's going to come up pretty big when all the attention is going to be on our other two. So,
right.
It might look like he's having a slow start at the gate right now, but make no mistake, Tate's going to have that pop-off game, and it's going to be during one of those big going into the playoffs or that Oregon game, that Michigan game. That I think that guy's going to be special, and somebody's going to put cornerback number 3 on him or line up a linebacker when we put him in the slot. Douglas, he's going to eat. So
I hope so.
Everybody that kind of comments that he's having a slow year. Well, you need to check the rest of the roster because Ohio State is absolutely packed at wide receiver, and he's going to have his day. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But we can put a bow tie on it here.
Nope, totally fair. Dylan, if you'd like to make a little wager on the Ohio State game, we're totally available. 31-21. I mean, that means to me, Jordan, that Iowa's able to really grind the ball out and keep the possessions a little bit more limited. And that's what they have to try to do. Dylan, I mean, if Caleb Johnson really gets going, like we mentioned early in our prediction, then this could happen. I don't think Iowa could ever beat us, but this is the kind of game it could turn into a kind of a 10-point dragged out type game. So while, we're going to be a little bit biased and, we don't love to see that, it is possible if they cannot do their job on Caleb Johnson. So that is the spin side of what we are predicting. I respect it. Dylan, if you'd like to make a wager, again, we are here. Iowa's offense has looked better since getting the new ace. Cade knows how to beat. Oh, my God. Cade. Okay, well, Dylan ruined it there. So let's move on, Jordan. Which game do you want to talk about first? Bengals or Browns game? Which one?
Douglas, heads or tails? Click it and we'll dive into it.
All right, we're going to go Bengals versus Ravens first. Bengals versus Ravens, Jordan. This is an interesting game. Jordan, 1-3. The Ravens, I trust them more than I trust the Steelers. To me, they're still the team to beat in the North, besides you guys. I don't trust the Steelers like that. But this is a big-time game. They're 2-2. You're 1-3. It's at home. What are 3 things you have to see from the Bengals to be in this game and to potentially win this game, Jordan?
Douglas, we got to see pressure from the 3 technique for the defensive tackles, and our defensive ends outside of Trey Hendrickson have to get home. So that's, we've got to apply pressure on Lamar Jackson from the interior of the defense, and the defensive ends have got to be disciplined and stay at home and be ready for containment. Those are the big. You could even split those up and say keys 1 and 2, for the whole game period, because you're not going to win a game if you can't keep him in the pocket. That's just Lamar Jackson. I don't care what defense you are. And we've got to, apply pressure from the interior. If you can get Lamar Jackson off his timing and force him to make, bad throws like we've seen throughout his career, you have a possible to win that game. So yeah. Those are my 2. And third, Douglas, I'm not even going to think about offensively. Third, we just saw Derrick Henry tear up the Buffalo Bills. Granted, 90-something yards was in one chunk play. So if you want to break it down, it was it wasn't as bad. But Douglas, he took him to the woodshed and just constantly, just had him down all night. So it's going to be up to really our linebacking core, that second level, Akeem Davis-Gathers, Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt, to absolutely ball out and, wrap Derrick Henry when they need to wrap him, stop him when they need to stop him. He's going to get his yards, Douglas, but it's all about yards after contact. So my third key to this game is going to be linebackers locking up Derrick Henry and stopping the yards after contact and make him earn every bit of what he's going to get. He's up there in age. There are times that we can really shut him down. Lou has shut him down when he's with the Titans. If you want to look at Lou's history against Derrick Henry individually, it's been great. A couple years ago, we absolutely stoned him in the playoffs. So that that's going to be a big thing. So I think Lou knows what he's doing. It's not going to be too far off from the zone runs and everything that the Titans did. The Ravens obviously do it better because they have a mobile quarterback in Lamar Jackson. So It's just really being disciplined defensively. Our defense interior has got to apply that pressure, and our defensive ends have got to stay home and play contain. If you do that along with the linebackers, stopping him right where he's at and not giving up yards after carry, Douglas, we're going to be okay, because offensively we're gonna make the Ravens score points. Mm-hmm. So if the Bengals come out with that mentality, and they fell a little short when it came to Washington, we all know what happened there. But if you come out and you make the Ravens have to score that many points, it changes their game plan. So they're not going to be able to run the ball consistently if you shorten that game up and you force them to have to throw. So I think those are kind of what the Bengals have to do, 110%. So you do that, and I think the Bengals are going to squeak one by.
Okay.
Give me 28-21. I think the Bengals, if they make it, it's going to be a scoring fest for both teams, but the Bengals are going to make them earn it. We're at home, so I feel a little better. We have defensively, we're getting Miles Murphy back. We're getting BJ Hill back. That makes me feel better.
McKinley Jackson's back also.
McKinley Jackson is officially activated as a couple hours ago from what I read on Cincy Jungle. Shout out to those guys. They always do a great job covering the immediate storylines. So, Douglas, I'm feeling good. The Bengals offense is going to take care of itself. I think they kind of found themselves. Granted, it was against Carolina, very bad defense when it comes to NFL standards. But
for sure.
Sometimes you need that game. You need a game to realize, hey, we can do this. We've got it. We know what the hell we're doing. And, give me 28-21. I think the Bengals take it. Now, you as an outsider, hit me with it. What are the keys to the game, and what's your prediction?
Okay, keys to the game, in my opinion, are always the same when you play the Ravens. This is just part of the deal. You have to contain Lamar Jackson. You have to force him to throw. And they have to be throws that are downfield, Jordan. You have to make him throw the ball downfield. He is too good if you give him anything within probably 10, 11 yards, anything inside of that, he's too good. He will tear you apart. He will beat you. But what I like that the Ravens did, and I'm obviously I hate the Ravens. They've looked down on us. They've kicked us around for so damn long. It sucks. But what they did was they went out and got Derrick Henry to take some of the onus off of Lamar Jackson. We really saw that into effect last week where Henry broke off the long one and had a really great game against Buffalo. They're coming off of they thumped Buffalo, Jordan, and Buffalo was playing better football than you guys are at this time. I'm a little bit worried for you guys, Jordan, because of how good the offense has looked for the Ravens recently. Their defense, not so much, and that's where I think you guys have a chance. Your wide receiver core, I would maybe slip in some Chase Brown runs, some Zach Moss runs here, but I think it's going to be a pass-heavy type game because that's where you have the advantage on the outside. The Ravens corners are getting up there in age a little bit. They still have Kyle Hamilton, who is a phenomenal safety, one of the best safeties in football. But you're also going against Marlon Humphrey. He's not as young as he once was. Brandon Stevens. These guys are solid corners, but they're not great. You have Jamar Chase. You have T. Higgins. You have Yoshi. You have the tight ends that are getting better every week. We got to get Gesicki more involved this week, in my opinion. Eric All was good last week. But, I would attack him with the pass game. Kyle Hamilton likes to play closer to the line. Maybe you take advantage of that when he overplays. You got Jamar Chase deep, but a lot of good stuff that you guys can do on offense to counteract how good the Ravens have been on offense. Dylan, got to log off, but touching on Doug's Browns, great sell high spot on Washington. Daniel's best performance has been against bad defenses in the Bengals and the Cardinals. Come to earth moment for Washington. You know what, Dylan, I hope that happens, dude, because I am worried sick about facing Jaden Daniels right now. So we appreciate you coming in, Dylan. Hopefully we can catch up with you later down the line. But Jordan, man, this game is important this weekend. This is extremely important. I named this podcast, this show this week, Must Win Weekend. This feels like a game at home. The Bengals have to win if they want to, get the ball rolling momentum wise. If you guys want to get back in the hunt in the North, it probably starts on Sunday at 1:00. Does it not, Jordan?
Oh, there's no question, Douglas. In my mind, it started last week. I know it wasn't against a North opponent, but just getting in that win column, not falling 4 games behind the rest of the division. Last week was kind of do or die, and this week is it's not much different.
So, this is do or die week for me, in my opinion. For both of our teams, it's do or die.
It's definitely a scratch and claw moment for the Bengals, no pun intended. But you definitely kind of hit that nail on the head, and I'd like to see Jermaine Burton in some more one-on-one packages, especially with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase on there. Maybe line them up in twins. Get Jermaine Burton on.
I wouldn't mind seeing a little 4 wide from you guys and make their linebackers have to guard one of these guys. I mean, you can't tell me that they haven't practiced Chase, Yoshi, T, and Burton out there at least a couple times. I mean, this has got to be the week where you pull out the stops, right?
Yeah, 110%. I would love to see the stops all pulled out offensively. We didn't really see Burton much last week. We know Yoshi got banged up in
He
the
did.
third quarter after his big 24-yard catch down the field. So hopefully he's got that right with the medical staff. But Burton for me is the guy that could potentially be a game changer because they're going to have to they can't put their premier corner on him.
Right.
So you're going to get a favorable matchup. You're going to get a corner 3 or a slot corner, or even if you start him to the inside and peel off a route, then he's beating a linebacker downfield. So if the safety is going to shade over towards Jamar and T, it could be a big night for Yoshi or Jermaine Burton if they feature those guys. So that's something that'd be a new wrinkle on the offense. Outside of Yoshi's red zone performance, we haven't really got to see much of him on the field and in space. So, I would love this to kind of be the welcome to the league party when it comes to both of them, even though Yoshi's in the second year. But this, being damn near, I know it's a 1:00 game, but it feels like a primetime game. So
it does.
It's a do or die moment. And, I'll be happy to see those guys going. And our tight end room, Doug, it doesn't matter who it is. They've all made catches. They've all made big plays. So I think the offense is really, I think the offense is a good engine right now. It's going. They kind of found themselves. But it's all going to hinge on the defense. And if they can make that 1 or 2 stops so Burrow can go downfield and get points, whether that's 7 or 3, that's going to make Lamar pass. And, that's what we got to
make him. You got to make him pass. I mean, that's everybody's goal in the NFL. Make him throw the ball downfield. Jordan, you went 28-21 Bengals. Man, I'm going to go 35-31 Ravens. I'm sorry, man. The reason I say this is because I think you're getting the Ravens a week too early with your tackles getting back healthy. If this was next week, I would feel a little bit better. If you guys could get another game under where everybody's getting back and then playing the Ravens, I think you're a week too early on the Ravens. I expect you guys to get back in the hunt. I just think it's going to take another week. While we are calling this a must-win and it's a very important game, 1-4 will definitely be very, very, very difficult for you guys to overcome. I just think it's a week too early for injured DTs to be having the level of responsibility it's going to have against the Ravens. Do you want to talk about it anymore, or are you ready to move on? Because we both got a prediction in there. It's going to be a good game. I'm excited to watch you guys play against the Ravens. But I just think they get you this week because it's a little too early.
I think we can put a bow on this. I don't disrespect your prediction. I like the fact that you kind of kept it high on the Bengals side. 31 points coming from Joe Burrow and company.
Yeah,
like you said, it's that offense is clicking. So we'll see, Douglas, if they can make that stop or even cause that turnover for the Ravens. That's going to be that's going to be the key to the game. So we'll see if those linebackers and those corners can make that stop, make that play. And
it just feels like Lamar and those guys are really locked in, especially after coming off that Buffalo beatdown. Really changed my mind about them.
But Buffalo isn't as talented on offense in my mind when it comes to guarding weapons. Yeah, they have a great tight end room, but there's a lot of youth there when it came to the receivers, and that kind of reared its head in my mind. Buffalo has a decent, they have above average offensive line, so I'm not going to take anything away from that. But when you force Josh Allen to pass to an offense that wasn't as explosive as they have been, of course the Ravens had it in the bag. So it just, in my opinion, it was kind of, he put it all on his tight end shoulder there at the end of the game, because I believe he was targeted career high 14 times. So Douglas, if you're throwing the ball to one man 14 times, where the Bengals have the luxury to kind of spread it out some, that's where I think the Bengals are going to just give them that extra dimension that they haven't really faced this year.
Okay, that's fair. We're going to close it there. We're split on this one, but let's transition, Jordan, to the Cleveland Browns. They take on the Washington Commanders. The Commanders are hot right now. Dylan did chime in and say that they've played really well against bad defenses. That is a fair point. Jordan, I'm worried, man. This is the make or break it game for the kind of the season, in my opinion. It is at Washington, which I wouldn't call them anything crazy home field wise, but they've just played really good football, Jordan, and that's worries me. Nick Chubb probably will not be back this week. He's working his way back slowly. He's looked good in practice. All reports indicate that. It's too early to rely on Nick Chubb. What are your thoughts before we get into it?
Before we get into it, Doug.
Or before I get into my.
Okay. Well, then I'm just going to pull that ripcord. Doug, it's going to come down to the Browns defense. If Myles Garrett can really get it going and make the rookie quarterback uncomfortable early, if you guys can get him on the ground early and really, disrupt his timing, and that's going to be huge for you guys. He's played against not good defenses, Doug, which was chimed on by our audience.
Yep.
And, the Bengals gave him almost zero pass rush. The Cardinals gave him about the same. So if you guys can really bring the house, make him uncomfortable, get your pass rush, get your defensive ends in there, I think that kind of gives you an edge because, Scary Terry is going to be lined up against Denzel Ward all day long. So that's going to be, that's going to be a battle to watch. I think both those young guys are going to, they're going to win some. I think McLaren's going to, probably run some crossers and, get that kind of separation from Denzel Ward. I don't think he's going to go straight vertically downfield and win those battles that he did a few weeks ago against, the Bengals and the Cardinals. So you kind of have an advantage there. If you don't give up the big play and the one score, offense or the two score, three throws, you guys are going to be okay, Doug. So I'm a little bit optimistic because the Browns defense is better than the Commanders offense in my mind. So Quentin, the defensive end you signed from New York, I think this is going to kind of be his coming out party. And if you guys just send the heat and really play contain on him, Doug, there's no reason the Browns can't squeak this one out. Offensively, that's my only question because the Commanders have a great defensive line when it comes to their interior, when it comes to defensive tackles. Cincinnati found out the hard way, but that's what they've been consistent on even during their kind of shit years. So they've always had that interior line has always played really well. They have the linebacker they signed from Seattle. He's still balling out, even though he's kind of in his advanced age. So really, if you guys can slow the interior of that defense down and get Deshaun kind of in these short throws, intermediate throws, and get the screen game going, then you can go back to that zone run, get it to the outside. I think you guys can win this. I think it's going to be, and this is going to, I'm a little bit optimistic. I think 21-14, I think Cleveland establishes this win, and it's going to be purely because the Browns defense is going to give the rookie kind of his welcome to the league game. So I think you guys can do it. I think the defense has enough talent and power to get this done, Douglas. I know you see it through a little different telescope than I do, but hit me with how you're feeling.
Nervous. I'm extremely nervous. The Commanders look really good. They lost that game early to the Bucs. They pulled off 3 straight. The Giants, the Giants who beat us, the Bengals, and the Cardinals. Both of those were away games. That's impressive to me. They are doing a good job blocking for Jaden Daniels. They're their left tackle, I believe, that they drafted from TCU or somewhere like that, has done a great job. Myles Garrett hopefully can, win a lot of those situations. We've got to slow down Terry McLaurin, like you said. Denzel Ward will probably be on him. But the other 2 corners are who worry me. Newsome and Emerson have been just god-awful. Outside of Denzel Ward, our secondary has been really bad. So that worries me. So 3 keys to the game, Jordan, to win this game. Make Jane McDaniels only a passer. He is extremely talented with his legs, and that's where he can kind of open you up and beat you in more ways than one. Make him beat you with only the arm, and that comes down to the defensive line and the spy and who can limit his ability. Number 2, we've got to force a turnover. We've done a good job with that last week and the week before. It didn't lead to a victory for us, but we've got to keep trying to get those turnovers, a fumble, an interception, something like that can change the game. And then my third key, everybody around Deshaun Watson has to play better. They have to play better, Jordan. The offensive line was a little bit better last week, but outside of Jerry Jeudy. The wide receivers have to be better. David Njoku's not there, but we need everybody around Deshaun Watson to play better. He was good last week, Jordan. He was good. He could probably be great if he can keep it going. At some point, we're going to see a great game from him. But to have a great game, you have to have a guy like Amari Cooper making all those plays. That interception hit Amari Cooper square in the damn chest. And, so I think the offense has to come around Watson. You don't have to like the guy off the field, but you have to do your damn job on the field. And our offense has not been doing their damn job. We haven't scored over 20 points this season, Jordan. We haven't scored over 20 points. Nick Chubb may be back next week, but he's not going to fix our offensive line problems. He's not going to fix our wide receivers not catching the ball. We have the most drops in the NFL, Jordan.
Yeah.
We have to pick it up around Deshaun Watson. We've hammered the table. Deshaun Watson's got to be better. Deshaun Watson's got to be better. Deshaun Watson's got to be better. Then he is better, and his teammates let him down. They've got to be better too. It's not all his fault. It is sometimes, and I will be the first to admit that. We got to get a better offensive performance from everyone. Everyone has to be better. Without that, Jordan, without those three things, we cannot beat the Washington. We're not good enough.
And it's got to be early. This late third quarter, early fourth quarter, then offense kind of wakes up.
And the defense. The defense doesn't wake up till the fourth quarter a lot of the times either.
The defense can hang around. But I agree with that statement. But to me, going 3 and out, and you put your defense in a bad situation early where
that's fair.
They haven't even finished, their bottle of water squirt, and all of a sudden they're back out on the field. That sucks. I can tell you that as a coach and a player. That's what's in my mind in the first two games at least. That's kind of been wearing the Browns defense down quite a bit. And then they hit that third quarter, and they kind of get bulldozed over. Then they tighten back up late third, early fourth. They get that turnover, which you alluded to, and it kind of changes the dynamic of the game. But if they can do that early and just really get after him defensively, like I said, he's playing, their quarterback, Douglas, for the Commanders is playing the best ball of his life right now, but he hasn't met that defense that's really punched him in the face. And I think you guys have just got to get home to him. If you can start even for tackles for loss or, get that sack on one of the first three plays, that's gonna change the dynamic. It's gonna be a long game for him, and that's where I think you guys can just unleash the dogs and really make him uncomfortable. Then you're getting those one-on-one matchups you like. Then that's when your secondary kind of clicks it together. But you just have to disrupt that timing. And him as a rookie, Doug, I know I'm making it sound easy, but that plays a huge factor. He's never seen a defense like this ever. You just really got to get after him and fuck totally. That timing up. And I think once you guys do that, just take control of the game offensively, put some points up, and really make the Commanders play catch up with you. Force them to pass the ball. And I think that's where the win's going to come from.
You said 21-14, Jordan. I'm going to go 17-14. I think we beat them by a field goal. And I'm nervous as hell. Jordan, quick stat for you on the Browns. You talked about the defense being out there more than they need to be. We are 11 of 53 on third down for 20% of our third downs. We do not keep drives alive. When we get to third down, more than likely we are going to be sending our defense back out onto the field. So that's a huge issue. We've got to improve on third down, and we need to improve on third down this week. Jordan, let's transition though, buddy. Let's get our parlay of the week. Let's start with the Bengals versus the Ravens. Jordan, give me part one of our parlay of the week.
I think Joe Burrow goes for 250 when it comes to passing yardage in this game. So,
okay,
I think he's going to have to, Doug. He's going to have to. The defense is not where it needs to be, and Joe Burrow. I mean, he even said in a press conference 2 days ago, he has to play almost flawless. And how do you play flawless? You got to go 250 or more, and you got to use everybody that's on the field, which we alluded to.
Okay, interesting. My leg is going to be Joe Burrow 2+ passing touchdowns. Like we think We think he's going to have to throw the ball. You think he's going to have to throw the ball a lot. I'm going 2+ touchdowns. Jordan, what's your last leg of the bet?
You want to go with it just a Jamar Chase anytime touchdown?
I would love a Jamar Chase anytime touchdown.
I feel like that's a pretty good lock.
Okay, so far we have Joe Burrow 250 yards passing, Joe Burrow 2 touchdowns, Jamar Chase anytime touchdown. Let's go. Let's move to the Browns aspect of it. Let me get this pulled up on our screen. Share. Okay, let's get to the Browns. Okay, Jordan. First leg of the bet for me is going to be somebody that we've been complaining about, Amari Cooper. I think he gets an anytime touchdown. I think Watson gets him one in the end zone. So let me get Amari Cooper on there for a touchdown. What's your next spot, Jordan?
This is a tough one for me. Give me Ford at 50 plus yards.
Okay, let me see what we got on here.
On the ground.
Jerome Ford. Oh, it's not on here yet. Why? We'll get that put on there. I don't know what's going on with that. We'll get that posted though. We'll get Jerome Ford 50 plus rushing yards or whatever it is. It's 40 or 50. Jordan, I'm going to go Browns +3 to add to our bet. So what we've got, Jordan, is Joe Burrow 250 passing yards, Joe Burrow 2 passing touchdowns, Jamar Chase anytime touchdown scorer. We've got Amari Cooper anytime touchdown scorer. I've got the Cleveland Browns +3, and then we've got Jerome Ford to rush for over 50 yards. So that'll be a fun bet, Jordan. Hopefully we can win this week. We've been struggling. We'll get that posted, though. We've been struggling with our first couple weeks. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. Yoshi getting hurt last week really hurt. That would have been
that hurt.
Been clutch.
And for those that didn't know, I had a huge bet that I was so close from taking a week's vacation off. It was actually kind of sickening, but
yeah.
I had $3,000.
That was your bet was pretty
my
good.
Way. That it was one touchdown away from being a Field of Dreams miracle, but it did not happen. I'm still here on the show, so no, I'm just kidding. But
let's transition, buddy. The Guardians versus the Tigers. Yes. It is official. Jordan, Cleveland Guardians. Let's see. They start on Saturday at 1:08 p.m. This is great, man. This is a team that they played against all year in the Central, a team that they know very well. Jordan, what are your thoughts on the Cleveland Guardians versus the Detroit Tigers playoffs series?
I'm going to apologize to our fans. I did not see who the Guardians have listed as their starter.
It's BB
to be determined. It
BB.
is.
I'm pretty sure it's BB. That's what I've seen everybody talking about on X.
That Douglas.
Yeah, Tanner Beebe's going. No, Detroit is undecided. Tanner Beebe's going for Cleveland.
Okay. But as of when I looked at it many hours ago, it was still kind of up in the air. So I do apologize to our fans. But big time, Doug. This is good. My only worry kind of resonates with our last show. I hope that that extended time off isn't going to make the offense and the bats come out flat. That's my only kind of worry. I think the Guardians are going to take care of it defensively. BB is a great guy to go out there and start the series, kind of put a stamp on it. But if those bats go cold, at least it was always Cincinnati's issue. If we had extended time off. But Douglas, as a series, though, I think the Guardians take this pretty swiftly.
Okay.
Because of this offense. Once this offense wakes up and really gets going, like I've been saying all year long, two players 100 RBIs plus, that's big time. So these guys are rested. Hopefully, some injuries are kind of healed, and they're locked and loaded and ready to go. I think that pitching staff for game one is going to take care of business. And if those bats can awaken, Doug, that might be a long night for the Tigers. I'm thinking a 5-3 win,
Okay.
5-2 win for the Guardians. I think they're going to come out and really punch them in the mouth, make that statement that, they belong here. And, everybody that kind of wrote them off when they were in the midst of their struggling post All-Star break, they're really looking to shut a lot of media up. And that's been kind of the attitude of their players going into this. So every little clip it and snippet that I've seen of individual interviews, everybody in Cleveland is really pumped for this. So they're really looking to make a name for themselves. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be a 5-3 win. Guardians take game one, and we'll go from there. How do you feel about it?
I feel like I like the fact that they're familiar with Detroit. I like that they've had to go through the season, but on the other side of that, Detroit has been red hot. I mean, I think they were like 33-15 to close out the year, and then they go into Houston and sweep them. Detroit is extremely hot, Jordan. That worries me going into game one. Detroit could go in and steal the momentum right away. That's my worry, Jordan, right off the bat, is how good Detroit has played to end the season. You got to give those guys props for that last hurrah that they went on to close out the year. What are your thoughts on that? Because you mentioned it. You sit a week, but Detroit just keeps that momentum rolling coming into game one. I almost wouldn't be surprised if Detroit wins game one just because of the momentum factor.
And I can see that, Doug. And that's why, my prediction was a 5-3 win, because the Tigers are going to come out with a lot of energy early. And like you said, winning is contagious. When one team is rolling, it's almost like that old NFL rule. Lately we've been seeing the wild card teams go a little bit further than a team that has the bye week. Where in years past it was kind of the opposite. But definitely, I think the Guardians have too much offense right now. So the Tigers are going to get theirs. I still hold strong on a 5-3 win Guardians. But momentum has a big factor in it. But I think the Guardians, when you get later, you get to that 6th, 7th, 8th inning, they're just going to put it on them.
Okay. What is your prediction for the series then, Jordan? 5-game series. What do you got?
5-game series. I think it's a 3-1 Guardians. Okay. I think the Tigers come out and rebound and probably win game 2. That dip into energy that's real, especially in baseball, and you see it a lot more in basketball and the best of 7, best of 5. Game 1, that team that kind of gets the bye comes out and just kind of smacks you around, but game 2, teams kind of seem to figure out a way, and I think the Tigers will probably take care of business on game 2, but then the Guardians are going to rebound and make this a 4-game series. So not taking anything away from Detroit, but I see a 3-1.
Okay. I'm gonna go 3-2. I think Detroit is playing really, really well. I'm still gonna put the Guardians to win this series. Pitching. You gotta get to that Cy Young quality, closer. You gotta get to that point, Jordan. So I'm gonna go 3-2 Guardians to edge one out, in the 5-game series, and to move on to face potentially Kansas City or the Yankees. Game 1, I'm gonna go 3-2 Detroit. I think they just have a lot of momentum in that, and I think that is a big factor. I think the Guardians take one on the chin game 1, they regroup, and then they work their way and get that win in the 5-game series 3-2. I'm excited, Jordan. It's gonna be fun to watch a little bit of baseball, have a little bit of meaningful Ohio baseball this season.
Yes.
And we'll obviously talk about the games this weekend on Monday. But Jordan, let's transition, man. We've gone for 50 minutes. It's heading to the end of the show. What do you have news and notes wise before we get out of here?
FC Cincinnati did exactly what you thought they would do. So I will be first to admit that I was completely wrong, Doug. I thought they were going to shake it off. I thought it was kind of a fluke that they lost to LA, but this yesterday kind of showed otherwise. The team again
falling apart.
I don't know if it's strategy or if they just look tired.
How can they be tired? How can they be tired, Jordan? We have to stop using this as an excuse.
I know.
It's not even reasonable.
I don't know, Doug. They look sluggish. I don't know if it's tired or because they're already locked into the playoffs, their minds are they just don't seem focused. They don't seem locked in. Granted that they found the back of the net twice, but some of that was a little bit late. So it's just kind of by then they were still down a whole score. So it was 3-1. They came out and got one. So I don't know.
It's bad.
Where do you see him going from here? Is it the team captain that looks bad? Is it leadership? Is it coaching? Or is it just have they just kind of found their match? And maybe they were just playing above their level, which happens in sports from time to time. You get that out of body experience moment, and which I felt like their championship game is when they went down and they upset Miami, by I think it was 3 goals, total for the game. It just ever since then, Doug, it's been kind of a struggle.
It has been. It's been a massive struggle.
And we know we fell back on, okay, we got some guys in international play in the Olympics. Then, our team captain was hurt and we got him back. Like you said, we're kind of running out of excuses here. So maybe they just got to go to the postseason and hit the reset button where everybody's just 0-0 and see where it takes us, because I don't really see him winning the series finale.
Yeah, I mean, they've got Orlando on Saturday, Jordan. It's getting down to the nitty-gritty here, buddy. You got to kind of win. We've got the FC Cincinnati plays Orlando, and then next October 19th they play Philadelphia, and then it's time for the playoffs pretty much, Jordan. So this team's got to get it back together. They've been struggling mightily. They need to beat Orlando this weekend just to kind of get that confidence back, Jordan. So that's definitely something to look for this weekend. If you are an MLS fan, FC Cincinnati's really taken one on the chin here recently. So not excited about, potentially playing Miami or Columbus or even LA in the playoffs. They've got to improve, and they've got to get back to where that high level of soccer was earlier in the year. Jordan, and anything else Ohio-wise, buddy?
Just a quick shout out. How do you feel about the Bearcats football, Douglas? Do you want to dive
playing good football? Let's talk about it. Yeah, let's talk about it real quick. They've got a game. They've got a tough one this weekend, I believe. Is this weekend? Is this weekend Texas Tech?
It should be, unless they're on a bye. But
no. They played them last weekend. They lost to Texas Tech last weekend, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they lost by 3 to Texas Tech last weekend.
That's what I was talking about. They on the cusp.
Yeah, they missed the game tying field goal right at times it expired. They're 3-2. They're 1-1 in the Big 12, Jordan. They're at UCF next week. There's still time, Jordan. There's still time.
I have that Colorado game circled.
That's gonna be fun.
That's 2 or 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, it's on the 26th of October.
Because Douglas, I think Cincinnati's defense could really throw them some fits. So
it's possible.
We'll dive deep into that when it comes around a corner. But that's kind of the game for them that I have circled on, and that's going to be kind of their tall tale sign of where they're at in the Big 12.
Yep, definitely. That's a tough loss, 3-point loss. You missed the game tying field goal, so they are 1-1 in the Big 12 right now. A lot of teams in the Big 12 are 1-1. So there's still time. There's still a chance for Cincinnati to get back in this thing. Sorsby's been really good, really fun to watch. The running backs have been really fun to watch. The Bearcats, they just got to pick it up. They just got to pick it up an extra notch, these next couple weeks and keep winning to give themselves a chance. Jordan.
Because I thought they were out of it. They hit that 70-yard screen. I text you.
Yeah.
Like seconds out, I was like, man, it's over. It's over. And
then boom.
Boom. I got
right
up, I did
it.
something, or they were right back in it, and it was just sad they came out at the losing end of that.
Definitely,
that was a miraculous effort from the quarterback.
For sure. Yeah, he was out there without any running backs. He's just doing it all by himself. That was a massive performance from Sorsby. Might get him a couple looks on Sunday if you go back on that tape. But Jordan, 91 live viewers tonight. That means a lot to us. We thank you to every single one of you guys. We are super, super excited about where the show's going and what's coming next for us. So it's been a massive, to us personally that people watch this and hang out with us and comment on the show. I love it. I absolutely love it, Jordan. Take it away real quick. I'll be right back.
All right, good. Just kind of what he said, folks. 90 plus. That's huge for us. Hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Hit that retweet button on Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it. Hit that repost button over on Facebook. Every share, every like, every comment, every retweet, it takes us further, and that's where we want to go. We got a couple irons in the fire right now for this show. We're working extremely hard behind the scenes to take us to the next level, wherever that might be. But it all starts and finishes with you, the viewers, and your interactions with us, both on X. We're very, very interactive there. We'll talk to you on our personals. We'll spill it over on Ohio Sports Talk. We love it all. Come out, support us. We'll get you involved. We got some good projects going on, and this show, the sky's the limit. So,
late breaking news, Jordan. Breaking news. The Reds are hiring Terry Francona to be the next manager of the ball club. That news just broke. Terry Francona, the next manager of the Cincinnati Reds. Huge, huge news.
Let's go!
That is massive, massive stuff here, Jordan. Wow, that just came through the wire.
Let's go!
That's a hell of a hire. That is a hell of a hire.
That's Chatterbox Sports was talking about it about 2 weeks prior. That might be somebody that you at least give a phone call and you put all the money in to get together and you bring him back out. That is Doug, that's huge. That makes me, Nick, that is a Nick Krall knows his days are numbered signing, in my opinion.
Definitely, Jordan. That is massive. Cincinnati has their new manager. This feels good, Jordan. This feels really, really good because we've seen him be successful in everywhere he's been.
Yeah, his last stint in Cleveland, Douglas, was extremely great.
That's awesome. That is fantastic. The Reds have their manager officially. It's going to be announced tomorrow per MLB.com. Awesome stuff to close out the show. Jordan, Terry Francona, successful everywhere he's been. Got Cleveland kind of started where they are now. A great run in Boston, Jordan. The guy really knows how to get teams back into that playoff mode, that consistency, Jordan. So that's exciting. He's a guy that I always wanted to be the Reds manager for some reason. I've always liked him. I've always been a fan of his managerial style. 3-time AL Manager of the Year, 2-time World Series champion, Jordan. He played the game. He played for the Reds for a year as in '87. This is huge, man. This is huge. You go out and get Terry Francona. Massive, massive news to close out the show, buddy.
The fact they got him at a retirement, that's great. He's got to be looking at the young roster. It all starts with Ellie Deli Cruz. He's got to be looking at that young talent we have. McLean started in the Arizona League. Since we're talking about the Reds, about 3 days ago, he got activated, so he'll be playing on that through the month of October. So seeing him get those reps and those hits, that's going to be great. Maybe the Ellie contract is next, Douglas. I'll keep my optimism right here. It's a little higher now. It's a little higher, but all great things right now. It sounds like somebody pulled their head out of the sand. So that's all I'll say about that. Extremely fucking happy. That's the guy I was hoping, especially when we saw Marty talk about it on Chatterbox Sports. Shout out to those guys. They do a great job week in and week out. We're big fans, but Doug, that's what a way to close the show. So I'll toast you to that.
Jordan, quick little background on Terry real quick. 921 wins on his career. He's a .550 career winning percentage. He's won those two World Series. This feels like a good move. If he's got his health in the right shape and he's ready to go, to me, this feels like a move that can really take the Reds to the next level. So extremely exciting stuff, Jordan. Cheers, buddy. Awesome end of the show. Shout out to the Reds front office for going out and getting a guy who's not going to agree with everything they say. a guy who's gonna push the buttons when he needs to. A great managerial hire for the Reds. Exciting stuff. Can't wait. We'll talk about it more later, buddy. Love you. This has been Ohio Sports Talk. I'm your host, Doug. That's Coach Jordan Maxson. See you next time. Bye.